Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, or evening. I hope you all had a fun weekend. We're starting a new chapter today, which is called Geometry. So we're done with probability. If you didn't complete the test or any of the work involving probability, please go back and do that before you start this week. So these lessons this week are going to be a little bit shorter and hopefully more manageable for most of you. So let's start with the warm-up. If you didn't do the warm-up, please go back and do it. Then watch this video. Warm-up is done first, always. So, objective today is I can find the area of 2D figures. This lesson is going to be a review of 6th grade and 5th grade and 4th grade. Hopefully you remember how to find the area of 2D figures. If not, we're going to go over it today. This warm-up comes from 6th grade state test last year, so it might look familiar. It says a shape is made of 12 right triangles of equal size. Each right triangle has a base of 4 and a height of 5 centimeters. So a right triangle just has a triangle with a right angle. A base means the bottom is 4 centimeters and the height is 5 centimeters. What is the total area in square centimeters of the shape? So first we have to find the area of this. Then we know that there's 12 of them. So let's work with this first. So the area formula for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Area is equal to 1/2. Well, this is 4. Base is 4 and the height is 5. And 1/2 of 4 times 5 is 10 centimeters squared. But because there's 12 of them, we then have to multiply that by 12 to get 120 centimeters squared. So letter C. Oh, and I even gave you a little hint there. All right, let's get into today's lesson. So how this will work is we're attaching this as a Google Doc because we know most of you don't have printers. I don't even have a printer. So follow along with the notes as best as you can. Maybe you could do split screen with half the YouTube video and then half of the Google Doc, and type in your notes. If you can't type in your notes, okay, get it. Maybe go back and do it after you watch the video. But it's good to have them somewhere. If you can, take notes on a separate sheet of paper, that works too. Or you can print it out if you have a printer. So this first page is just going to be me going over notes. We're going to go over this lesson, and then I'll talk about a little bit about the reference sheet as we go. So again, today's objective is I can find the area of two-dimensional figures, which is 2D. And we're first starting off with a square. So a square, the formula for, so we could use that formula of A is equal to base times height, or if anybody remembers the actual formula for a square, we sometimes say it's S squared. Doesn't matter, since we're on the reference sheet, I'm going to use that one. So area is equal to base times height. Area is equal to, first of all, always write out the formula. Secondly, the second step is to plug in each number for whatever it represents. So 4 represents the base because it's the bottom, and then 4 represents the height because it's the height of the object. So 4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. Now, because this is area, everything is in inches squared or feet squared or units squared. So because it's in inches, we would write inches squared. Okay, or you could write 16 square inches. That's a lot. So I suggest writing inches squared. All right, let's move on to a rectangle. So rectangle, let's check the reference times height as well. So A is equal to B times H. Area is equal to, the base would be this, but this, since they're parallel and they're equal in a rectangle, this is also 12. So 12 times the height of the rectangle would be 8 feet. A is equal to 96 feet squared because we're just multiplying 12 times 8. Again, so far we didn't do anything super challenging here. Just square and a rectangle, both of them, same formula. A is equal to base times height. All right, moving on to a parallelogram. And this is a parallelogram, again, because both sides are going in parallel, or opposite sides are in parallel. And we know the formula, because we just used it twice, is area is equal to base times height. So A is equal to B times H. A is equal to 15 times 8, don't know, 120. So, oh wait, sorry, I forgot to plug in the numbers. I want you to do that, even though it seems tedious. So the base here would be 15, and then the height would be 8, and area is equal to 120 inches squared. All right, triangle. We did have that formula from the warm-up, but let's check reference sheet. So A is equal to 1/2 times base times height. Area is equal to 1/2. Okay, the base of this triangle, the bottom, is 6. The height of this triangle is 7. And A is equal to, well, I know 6 times 7 is 42, so half of that would be 21 inches squared. So again, the formula for this is 1/2 base times height, something you don't need to memorize. So far, we don't have to memorize any of them. Square, rectangle, parallelogram were all the same formula, and triangle was given to us as well. All right, trapezoid is starred here. A trapezoid has a set of parallel lines going this way, but these are not parallel, so that's what makes it a trapezoid. You are not given the most challenging one that you have to memorize. So the formula for a trapezoid would be A is equal to 1/2, and then in parentheses A plus B, and then that all times H. So I'll talk about what that is. H is height, so this would just be 5. And then A and B are in no order, the top and the bottom. So we can call this A and we can call this B. If you happen to switch them and did 4 was B and 9 was A, it wouldn't matter. Okay, so you do have to memorize that formula. That won't be given to you. So area is equal to 1/2 times A plus B times H. Area is equal to 1/2. So A would be 4 plus B would be 9, and then times 5 of the height. So area is equal to, let's do 1/2 times 9 plus 4 is 13 times 5. So we do 1/2 times 13 times 5, 32.5 or 32.5. So 32.5. And that would be centimeters squared. Okay. Okay, so now you have an example of each of the type that you'd be asked. Remember that you want to be either typing these notes in your Google Doc or printing it out and writing it in your Google Doc or writing them on a separate sheet of paper. And you have many options. You just have to figure out what works best for you. Okay, so as of now, the second page, we actually want you guys to type in the Google Doc, and we'll be checking your answers of area of each of these. Okay, so you need to turn this in when you're done so that we can see your answers for the area. And square times H or base times. Of course, what I want you to do is go to the next page or scroll down to the next page in your Google Doc, and we want you to make sure you pay attention, and I want you to try these 6 questions. So as far as work goes, this is a Google Doc, so you can type right in. We need the formula, what numbers you're plugging in, and then the area with centimeters squared, or whatever it is. Okay, so those 3 things we're looking for. We're looking for 1, 2, 3 lines. We're given, don't just write the area in. We want to see the work too, just so we can correct it if needed. Remember 2. Okay, so I know this is a little bit different than what we were doing last week as far as math and as far as format goes, but we want to try and figure out something that works for everybody. And there are some people who didn't have the notes, so we're trying our best here. So, Alright, well, if you have any questions, you know how to find me. Good luck. The last page is the grade 7 mathematics reference sheet. So this reference sheet gives you all the formulas that you'd be given for a final exam or a state test. So this is a 6th grade one too, and I think even 8th grade. So a lot of the formulas that we need are on here, but some of them aren't. So let's go back. It's not on the reference sheet, but luckily it is a type of parallelogram. A parallelogram is a shape that has two sets of parallel sides, and so because a square, these are going the same direction and these are going the same direction, that's considered a parallelogram. Also not on there, but luckily for you, it's also a parallelogram, because just like a square, it has two sets of parallel sides. So we would use A is equal to B, and it's there. So you don't have to memorize the area of a triangle because it is given to you on a reference sheet in any big test, and in my test too. So A is equal to 1/2. Look at the formula sheet. You are not given the formula for a trapezoid. So that is one that you have the formula sheet on there if you need that.